Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. So, this is a trial to or a test to see what comes out of it. So, I want to talk about the haram. People complain about it, that they hear a lot of things being haram and it's like too much, and they don't even know why, or they make an excuse of why they should like, or why eating is haram, or why it is halal. And the main thing is that they usually they usually find pleasure in it. So the lack of enjoyment and the desire for it makes them insistent upon it, except those who Allah SWT has saved from it. And this is actually from the corruption of desires. Now, man by his nature is, I don't know if it's nature, but he's ignorant, self oppressive, and he might have corrupted beliefs. Ignorant that he doesn't know what is harmful, but he goes after it. Self-oppressive, he knows that it's not good for him, but he still does that. And corruption is when he does something thinking it's good, but it's actually bad for him. The body is an example that the food that we eat, there is healthy food and there is junk food, right? But junk food is harmful and healthy is good. But the reason why we go after the junk food is because of the sugar we get or the sweetness from whatever that junk is. And then we eat it because we enjoy it. And then because it's junk, it leads to sickness or what is worse than that. Similar to with the heart seeks enjoyment and there is enjoyment in the correct actions. But when we take it in the wrong action, seeking the enjoyment or the desire, we actually enter into things that will destroy us. Now, Islam at its core, the aim is to save us from destruction and lead us towards the greatest of blessings. And so, one of the way it does that is to prioritize our safety. And the greatest harm or the greatest destruction is to be thrown into the fire. And so, what takes people into that, like kufur and shirk, you see that Islam does not tolerate and it warns people severely of that, not associating with its people, not showing approval, nothing. Because once you enter into the fire, if you are not one of those that Allah SWT has mercy on, then it's destroyed. Now, on the other hand, when we are tried with a bad leader, Islam will enjoin us to be patient. Why? Because most of the time, the bad leader is not calling to kufur. It's just like oppressing the people and trying to like what overthrow him or fight against him actually leads to more harm in the society and bloodshed compared to the good. And so when there is a bad leader, Islam enjoins us to be patient. And when there is kufur and shirk, Islam enjoins us to stay away from it and to distance ourselves from it. Now, if you look at a bad leader like Hajjaj ibn Yusuf, that really was like a big trial on the believers at his time, right? They were patient upon him. But Fir'aun, they were not supposed to be patient. They were supposed to follow Musa. And many of people followed that left Fir'aun, the people that left Fir'aun, even though there were very few, those people were saved. But those people that followed Fir'aun, they were led into the fire. So now look at this. The bad people suffered under a bad leader. They were patient and they succeeded. People followed Fir'aun, that called to kufur and shirk, and they ended up in the fire. So again, trying to save us from destruction. Now coming to society, right? Because it's trying to lead us towards good and uh, basically, Islam actually allows us to have guns. Why? Because it's a way of us to protect ourselves. And if you see the situation of how like the bandits and something they do, they can just come and attack a people. And because they don't have any means to defend themselves, they are like what? They are left unprotected and they can just be harmed. If you look at another thing again, uh, zina that has so much harm in the society, it has destroyed families. Many evil are linked to it, even criminals, drugs, and what people don't even expect. Right? Islam actually forbids all that leads to it, and it doesn't like give exception in case of unless in case of like need or it's just like difficulty, but it blocks all things that lead to zina. And if you the reason why I brought this is that Islam is trying to save us from what is harmful and lead us towards what is good. And this is how one of the ways which it does that. Now, this the bad leader, kufur, shirk, protection, zina, this is something that most of us know. But there are actually things that we don't know, especially when it comes to a lot of the haram. right? There is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done whereby He has ordered things. What do I mean by this order? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that you should not cause corruption in the earth after it has been ordered. Corruption is like fasada, disorder. Islah is usually translated as righteousness, and you can also understand it as order. Now, Sheikh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, it talks about how Allah's names, the legislated, the one who benefits, the righteous one, the just, the truth, the good, that all these names are actually equal in nature and their essence is one, even though their descriptions may differ, because they are all from the beautiful names of Allah. Similarly, the names of his books, the names of his religion that he gave to the prophets of the past, even their prophets, they are, even though they were different in names, their essence is one. And because of this order that Allah SWT has done, even though the names is different to specify some other aspect of a characteristics, right? We can actually derive guidance and evidence from it. What do I mean? If Allah SWT has commanded an action, then it has these characteristics that it is good, praiseworthy, beneficial, there's justice and fairness in it. It is righteous, Salaha, it's obedience to Him, it will be rewarded, is loved by Him, it is from good judgment, there's guidance in it, and it will be the best in terms of reward and success. However, when He has prohibited an action, it will be bad, it will be blameworthy, harmful, injustice, and so on and so on. Now, this is an order that has one order, and they are not mixed up. What do I mean by they are not mixed? Allah SWT will not command an action, and it will be beneficial, and it will be justice, and then the action will now be bad or blameworthy. He will not, like, an action will not be fair and righteousness, and it will not be in obedience to Allah, and rather it will be in obedience to Allah, it will not be in disobedience to Allah. An action will not be rewarded by Him, loved by Him, and from good judgment, and then the action will not be from guidance, or it will lead to destruction. It will not be from guidance, that is the book and the sunnah. It will not be praiseworthy and beneficial, and then it will be prohibited by Him. No, these things don't mix, but people don't understand it. What happened is that they follow their desires, and the desire is not from good judgment. It's actually from bad judgment. That is why, as is from bad judgment, it is hated by Allah, it is punishable, it is disobedience to Him, He has prohibited it, and it is bad and blameworthy. Now, by desire, of course, desire at its root is good, right? But like the enjoyment that we seek. We just say, oh, something tastes good, right? And because it tastes good, we look for what tastes the best, and then we go to junk food. Or something is enjoyable, we desire it, and look at, okay, what is the most enjoyable thing we can find? And that's when you find people looking for wealth, power, fame, like that. That's what I mean by desire. So there's an example Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives about the magicians at the time of Suleiman. These people were warned about magic, but because of their desire, they left the warning and still went to go and learn the magic, even though they were prohibited. And they learned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, what harmed them and what did not benefit them because of how great the harm was. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if only they had believed and had taqwa, then the reward that they will have gotten from that will have been better than what they are getting from the magic, if only they had known. So now these magicians, or as magic is prohibited, it is bad, it is blameworthy, it is harmful, it has all these characteristics. Not just magic, but anything that touches even a single of these characteristics of evil, and to have all of them. This is the case of haram, and anything that is halal, that is commanded to have all these characteristics. Like salah is good, it is praiseworthy, it is beneficial, it is justice. La ilaha illallah, it is righteousness, obedience to Allah, zakah. But things like zina, killing, uh what oppression, it comes under all these things, right? And these things, they don't mix, but people follow their desires. Now, one other thing is that why we follow them, especially when we cannot understand this, is what I'll call the beautification of evil. Now, what do I mean? For example, junk food, from what I've heard, is actually bad, right? And it tastes bad. But because the sugar is added into it, we are now desiring of it. Similarly, uh, when an action is prohibited, right? But because of the desire we have for it, then it is now beautified in our eyes. The people of Lut, zina, murder, killing people, and all kinds of ma'asi. When people enter into them, right, it's usually beautified in their eyes. And this is from the corruption of the heart. One I like to highlight is the music and entertainment industry. Now, there is art, there is sports, there is business, there is policy, there are different kind of things. But the one where we fear of the devil and Illuminati and all those kind of things is in the music and entertainment. Why? We don't know. But the devils know what they are looking for, and so they invest heavily in it. If you hear of all these like celebrities and their whatever so-called conspiracy theories, right? They always talk about this devil, Illuminati, Freemason, and all these kind of things. So it is real, but we don't actually need to go and start watching television and seeing what exactly they are doing or know it. Why? Because whatever they are going to do, they cannot bring it in the form of good. It cannot come from something that is commanded. It will always be something that is prohibited. And because of that, like Islam again, once again, is trying to save us from destruction. They are not going to bypass the Sharia. They just cannot do it. But because we don't understand the shaitan and we are following our desires, right? When we come up with man-made laws, that is when they are able to bypass the things that are good for us and lead us to the things that will destroy us. So, Alhamdulillah for the ni'mah of Islam. So we people like watch all these things, entertainment, and things that Allah SWT has made haram, and they think that nothing is happening. No, something is happening, but you don't know. And when it is beautified for you, you see that nothing wrong. It's not because there's nothing wrong. No, it's because it has been beautified, and the beautification is in this: the sugar that you are looking for, the enjoyment that you seek, and you seek it from the wrong sources. And when you seek it from the wrong sources, it will lead to your destruction. If you take any of these things, the end of it is something that will be bad. And if you take any of this, the end result is what is going to be good. And this is order. There is no like corruption in the matter, except what people choose to follow. So what's the solution to this? There's a way that we can, when it comes to the body, there's a way we can reset it, right? With hunger. And when we need to eat, we replace our meal with something healthy. And if we keep on doing this, what will happen is that the desire the body has for the junk food, it will like kind of reset itself, and then it will not have desire for this. Similarly, there's a way we can like train the heart and teach it so that it does not desire things that will lead to destruction, but to desire things that are commanded, praiseworthy, beneficial, and so on. But people are ignorant. And talking about the heart, it is like the most important flesh of the body, right? Or whatever it is exactly. And it is an organ of desire. It desires like an object to be desired. Now, Allah SWT did not create anything in the creation that will satisfy that desire or to give a pleasure, that will give the pleasure that the desire that the heart is looking for. Rather, it will only find that satisfaction in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is in knowledge of Him, love of Him, and remembrance of Him. This is the real food of the heart, and this is what will lead to success. And we don't understand this, and we don't understand that all forms of disobedience, it takes away from the zikr of Allah, and we don't understand the value of the zikr of Allah, and how all goods and all the good things we seek in this world and the akhirah, it originates from it. And because the shaitan is trying to lead people away from it, he's trying to like lead people away from the zikr of Allah, and all forms of disobedience, they come to this. And again, it's also from this. You are not going to be following all these evil things and it will lead you to zikr of Allah. And then you're not going to be doing this thing and it will lead you away from the zikr of Allah. There is an order that we don't know. Now, to now kind of like explain, uh, okay, now I try to explain why these things are haram and show that we don't understand. But the main thing is the lack of enjoyment and the desire for it. But we can actually find the enjoyment and the desire from the good things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded. And like, okay, that is like, I don't know how to explain that in a very short time. I think that's going to need another explanation in and of itself. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdik, la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.